Hi, I'm Guru Larry. This is Coach Brandon. We're here at Martial Way Legacy in Austin, Texas. We just finished working with one of our favorite private lesson students, Nikki, and we were coming up with some different ways to kind of flesh out something cool with a series of movements that we're doing this month. So we want to try and share some of that with you here. So first thing is solo. So if I'm by myself here in my on guard position, my right foot's forward, sticks in my right hand. What I want to do is enter at 45 degrees on the female triangle with the roof block, okay? From this position, my next move is to step forward, right? I want to use the lateral triangle to step forward, but I want to score something in flight with that, right? So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to immediately strike down as I step through. That's going to rotate all the way through, and I'm going to step one more time with a nice powerful forehand strike as I go, okay? So again, I'm there. It's 45 degrees on the female triangle, lateral triangle forward with the left foot and hitting through on like a vertical line, and then step in, boom, and big forehand shot at the end, okay? So that's all really you have to do. If you're by yourself, this gives you something that you can practice with, right? And I'm just resetting, but if you guys have a lot more room, obviously, just keep advancing with the drill, okay? So last time here, 45 on the roof, linear left foot stepping forward, big vertical shot, and then boom, swing through with a forehand, okay? So what does that really look like? Well, Coach Brandon and I are here. When he's feeding that line, I set that roof block in play. I think a lot of times when we go for disarms, everybody's at a shallow line, so they're immediately thinking, okay, let me hit that line, let me go into a hand grab and then do a disarm. These are all great and viable, but why not shoot just a smidgen deeper, okay, into this format? Maybe give yourself a couple of other options as far as the disarms go, and if you miss those, you still can grab the hand and then pick it up. So we're getting more bang for our buck, right? So with that in mind, then I typically am shooting in, I try to make contact with the hand, his hands, on my forearm, okay? I imagine digging in deep like I'm trying to hit him, or if it was stick and dagger, I'm trying to cut him. But I get to that spot. When we're stick sparring, very worst case scenario, I can't grab this, he pulls it back, I'm able to find the shoulder and step in, and I know where he's at, right? So I can find him. If I find the shoulder, I know where the hand's at, I know where the arm's at, I know where the weapon's at, okay? So again, on entry, boom, I make that forearm connection. Now I really want to snake, but look, there's a lot of room here. He's just going to pull through, probably get a good shot in the middle of it, okay? So in order to cut that distance, what a lot of times we do is we're like doing this, but he can still pull through. Look at that, because my elbow's high, so I'm leaving a big hole in there. So if I'm good with keeping my elbow low, I get a better chance of getting the snake, but he still has the option to pull through. So you're probably wondering, but Guru, how do we fix that, right? What's the deal? Well, if we use that lateral step like we did before, right? So I 45 degree with the female triangle, okay? And then I'm gonna hook up that snake on that lateral step. Look how much distance I cut with that lateral step, just sectoring outside his foot, okay? That's huge, right? Feel the difference in the tightness of it, all right? Now, let's really isolate what's going on with this hand. So as I set that roof in, right, and I'm circling that line on my lateral step in, I keep the elbow low. I just want to get my thumb to wrap around his wrist right there. And my whole goal right now is to essentially take my radial bone, which lines up with my thumb, and put it right there on his ulna bone, which lines up with his pinky. That sets me up into, I'm gonna use a JKD term here, Tansao position, right? But it also makes that extremely tight, right? Okay, harder to snag, harder to pull, harder to slip out, okay? So again, we're here, I'm doing the roof, I got my forearm connection here, and then I'm snaking this line, boom, into that position, okay? Now, here's the deal. We know that if we roof, and then we snake, and we, let's say right now, we're doing a tip-up disarm, which I would rotate my body, hit forearm to forearm here to help his hand open up, and motivate him by hitting him in the face at the same time with the stick, I'll probably get a much better disarm, right? Okay? But the problem is here. I've entered in, and if I did close to grab, by the time I go here, he's going to stop me, and now we're tussling and we're grappling, okay? And that's great. We can go down that wormhole, right? But man, we don't have to if maybe we could get this a little bit better, okay? So here we're gonna borrow an NPM, a non-passive movement, okay? Again, it's a JKD term that gets used a lot, and the goal of it is to shock them, right, or throw them off, mislead them, almost like PIA, right? Progressive indirect attack, to where you can get what you want. So smoke and mirrors are like, hey, look, there's Elvis. You see Elvis over there? He's not gonna fall for it, see? He knows the drill, right? So I step into roof, 45 degrees, and now when I wanna get a hold of his hand, what I'm gonna do is open him up right there, right? That one immediately hits down and converts, and look, I get this while he's not thinking about it. That loops over like our solo drill, and when I step in, boom, I still get that mega motivator, right, coming out. I'm hitting the radial nerve, and I'm also trying to hit him in the face at the same time, okay? All of that will blow through at that depth too, right? So think about this. I go one, I open him up with that one as I'm hooking that line. Even if he blocks this as I step in, boom, right? Because I'm stepping in and all that power's coming in, it's gonna be received much better for me, much worse for you, right? Okay, so again, details, 45 degrees, forearm on. Disguise this step with a non-passive movement. Open him up. Be snaking the arm at the same time. Radial bone on ulna. As that loops over, you can even sidestep with this a little bit if you find yourself getting too close, right? But you want to make sure you just have enough room to be able to hit his forearm with that and hit him in the face with a stick. I know what you're saying at home. Some people are probably like, hey man, why don't you just hit with that? That's great too. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But I'm probably gonna miss it. I've missed it before. When it's real, I've totally missed it. But I never missed this one. Right? So I always make that form to form and the stick to the face to make it work, okay? So last time in there, right, I set up the roof block, I got form to form, disguise what I'm doing as I'm stepping in, hit through, and then step, rotate, and knock it out for the roof to snake, tip up, disarm, okay? Hopefully you got something out of those little details. Try working on it slow and then building the speed with it. It's a lot of fun.